What is up, everybody? Dan the Fireman here at Indian Motorcycle Tucson. Just got my bike serviced, 500 miles. You guys have been asking for a full-on ride type of hazard thing where I just talk. Let's go ahead and sync you up. All right, so what we're gonna be doing is I'm gonna be riding, I'm gonna be showing you all the hazards as much as I possibly can, and I'm trying to like brain vomit on you guys. I'm gonna vocalize everything I see. I'm gonna put this in sport mode, traction control, all that stuff. And if I miss anything, I will annotate it in post-production when I'm editing. So that's what we'll be doing. All right, so first things first, I'm exiting a parking lot. There could be quite a bit of traffic going left, going right. I'm gonna let this guy sit. I'm gonna see where he's going. So one of these things that you gotta really watch out for is oncoming traffic coming in and hitting me. So I'm actually in a bad spot. I'm in the center of this entrance. That's the entrance, but this is the exit, but who knows? Who knows? Anybody could do anything. So right now I'm gonna merge. My biggest fear is any debris, double checking. While I'm straightening up, then I get to accelerate. Now there's gonna be a point where I get on the interstate, and if you wanna skip to that point and you wanna know about interstate riding, then go ahead and do that, but it's gonna take me about 5-10 minutes just to get to the interstate, so I'm gonna be doing that. All right, so we got some hazards here. So we got a lot of traffic, roadway users. These people are the most dangerous things on the road. The ground isn't gonna just jump up and attack you. These vehicles will. This red car wanting to come out. I'm staring at the tires, the rims, and seeing if they're starting to rotate. If they start to rotate, that means that they're coming out. All right, we got a car in my left in a blind spot. And that's another thing. I'm gonna be sticking with the GoPro footage, and then I'll be using the 360 camera very sparingly on this because I want you guys to see what I see. Now it's going to be in super view, so it's going to be a little bit wider than normal, and everything is a lot closer than it appears. So check my blind spot, accelerate. Now I just went from lane position 1 in this lane to lane position 3 in this lane. That way I don't have to jump all the way across. Let's say I jumped all the way across. Now I'm in a dangerous spot, and now I'm in a safe spot. That actually helped out because that person's there. So if you're going from that lane position 1 in that lane all the way to lane position 1 in this lane, if that Jeep decided to brake on me, that would have put me in a dangerous spot. I would have to swerve even more. So what I typically do, so let's say I'm in this position. Okay, this car is speeding like crazy. So I'm in this position. And if I wanted to switch over to this lane, I'm not gonna switch all the way to the other lane position 3. I'm just gonna do this real quick. Boom, new lane, that's it. That way I'm not stuck behind a Camaro or a Corvette. What is this? What is this? Whatever, you guys are gonna make fun of me for not knowing. Anyways, that way I'm not stuck behind them. All right, so we got intersections. Those are the most dangerous places for any vehicles. I'm pretty nervous about this Jeep, but I have a feeling he's gonna wanna turn right, but I don't like it, so I'm gonna be over here in lane position 1. That way I get this nice space cushion. We got a lot of braking up ahead. I'm looking ahead of this vehicle. I'm not looking at this vehicle. I'm not riding his ride. I'm riding the road and the changing conditions. So try your best to look far ahead, and that is why I'm in this lane position, is that I can see straight down. If I have to, I can lane filter all the way down. And if that means I can lane filter all the way down, that means I can see all the way down. That is important. Seeing is believing. I had a bunch of caffeine before this. All right, so right now that we're taking off a little bit, I'm gonna scoot over because I don't know what this person's gonna do. So I'm gonna scoot over into this lane position. And since I'm in this lane position, now I have a view way ahead this way. My point of focus is way down there. It's pretty much at all the cars at the next light. And I'm using my peripheral to kind of keep an eye on this guy. I am not even looking at him, but I knew he had a blinker. So now I'm gonna accelerate so I'm not in this guy's blind spot. We got a red car coming here. Now I see some construction up ahead. I see the little chevrons. If you are a YouTube member, type a little chevron in the chat. That is a YouTube member emoji. I believe you get access to that even during these videos. Anyways, it is a lane reducing. Share the road with care, bike lane in. So people are going to want to merge. So I'm right now keeping an eye out and making sure nobody's going to come in at the last second. Good, we're good. I'm not scared of these cones, so I'm going to stay next to him. This guy wants to come out, but he sees everything. I don't like the position I'm in, and I'm assuming these people don't like it either. So when I switch over to this lane, I'm gonna switch all the way over to lane position 3. I'm making sure nobody's at the intersection. Keep an eye out on my blind spot. Now that I'm out of their blind spot and I see all this open road, I'm gonna go ahead and accelerate just a little bit. I see a white car right there. I'm gonna go ahead and present. We got a van right here coming out. So I'm just gonna roll off the throttle, maintain a nice space cushion, and now go at their speed with a nice distance. Now, if I maintain my throttle, my speed, I would have been right on their ass. So that is one of those things, guys, where you see that you just kind of roll off the throttle a little bit and let gravity and the engine braking take over, and it slows you down enough. And we guys, we're on bikes, so if it slows down, okay, I slowed down. It's as simple as that. I understand not a lot of you have a 12 hundo, the FTR 12 hundo, but still, we're a lot quicker than most vehicles on the road. All right, so right here is a bad spot. Now I'm gonna move over to this position. Now I can see way ahead. I can see the brake lights going on the car in front of this car. That allows me to know that I need to slow down. So I slow down when the car in front of me starts to slow down, not reacting to the car in front of me slowing down. All right, so this is just a pedestrian crossing. So a pedestrian must have crossed at some point. I don't know if there's anybody else that's gonna start crossing. So I'm gonna practice my slow speed stuff. This is where having slow speed maneuvers is very good. There you go, see that? I was exaggerating this, but that's where it's important. So now that we have another red light, we're gonna slow down. This guy wants to come out. I don't want him to come out in front of me, so I'm gonna do this a little bit. Now we're gonna set up for a light, okay? So right now I'm thinking, where's my escape path? Where's my escape path? Where's my escape path? I think this is a good spot right here. I don't see any bicyclists coming, so I'm gonna stay right here. So if anybody wants to run it, they're gonna probably hit these cars. I'm off to the side, so hopefully they have this nice big gap where somebody would want to take it, but they didn't, and they would just gun it and accidentally hit the van in front of me, not me. All right, so now I'm gonna get back into lane position 1. I kept an eye on this guy right here. I just did a quick head check. That way I have a spatial awareness of where I'm at. Because if you think about it, you need to think about how you're riding from the top down. So if you have a bird's eye view right above you, you want to know where there's a car, all those different things. I'm in this person's blind spot. I don't like it, so I'm going to scoot over. That person got into a spot where now I was in their blind spot, so that was actually their fault, but it's my reaction that I got to do it. So when I was talking about the spatial awareness and having that bird's eye view, you need to have an idea of where the vehicles are behind you and to the side of you, because for an emergency, if I have to swerve and I have to swerve into the next lane, I do not want to know. I saw this guy's tire start going towards me. I don't want to have to guess. I want to know that nobody's there. So I'm constantly double checking, constantly looking at my mirrors, constantly making sure that nobody's there. So if I have to swerve, I don't have to do a head check before I swerve. It's an emergency. All right, so I was not paying attention to where I'm going. So this guy right here, I don't know what he's doing. So I'm just gonna kind of scoot back. They're braking anyways for these big bumps on the train tracks. So I'm kind of sitting back a little bit. So train tracks, I see these people are making massive little bumps with their suspension. So that means it's gonna happen to me. So I'm gonna lift my butt up, just like in the MSF, crossing an obstacle. The bike moves, I'm not moving. Okay, so these dotted lines mean that it's gonna be right turn only. I don't want to turn right. I don't think so. We'll figure this out. We're just gonna keep going straight. We're gonna hit the interstate anyway at some point. All right, so we got vehicles behind me. It's a little hot. I hear the radiator fan going. So right here, I don't know if there's a car turning left, so I'm gonna kind of open up the view. There it is. Open up the view. So it's a line of sight issue that we would have with cars turning left in front of us. So I am getting into a position where the line of sight is actually increased. So right now, the line of sight for this person, this Honda Ridgeline in front of me, it's increased. So they can see me in the rear view and the left side mirror. If I go over here, they can't see me unless they check the rear view. And I'm in a dangerous spot. So I'm checking the car behind me. Okay. All right, so now we're coming up into some pedestrian areas. So this is downtown Tucson. So we got some pedestrian areas. Alameda Street. So in fact, actually, yeah, this is straight up downtown. All right, so I know where we're at now. Okay, cool. We're gonna go down Congress. All right, so once again, I position myself off to the side and enough to where if this person decides, hey, I don't like this lane, I'm gonna back up about 2 feet, I'm gonna switch lanes, it's not going to affect me very much. I pretty much gave them that space. Do not get right behind another person. All right, so once again, I'm gonna switch lanes. And now, just because there's nobody in front of me does not mean I'm not gonna stay off to the side, because there's a bunch of oil and a bunch of debris in the center portion. And once again, I want this big gap just in case they are not paying attention and they went a little too far, that we can share this lane. That's not a big deal to me. I don't care if we're sharing this lane. All right, another thing that I do is I look at the lights. So it's turning red now for the cross traffic. So that means they got probably an arrow. So that means we're coming up soon. So now that we're coming up soon, I see there's debris in the middle of the road and a manhole cover. I do not want to accelerate too hard on that. There's also rails. There's going to be rails for the tram. So we want to go over that as perpendicular as possible. We want to just go right over it. We don't want to ride side by side and gradually go across it. So I'm going to try to go right over it. Watch out for the debris. I'm not going to accelerate too hard because it's a little bit slippery. Okay, just because it's green for us doesn't mean we should go. So I'm taking my time looking both ways. Good. So here's the rail. There, we're going over it. All right, very good. So watch out for these. These things can be a little tricky. That was a blind turn until I went around it. All right. Not much going on here. All right, so there's the interstate. We took the nice long way, but now we're gonna get on the interstate, so we're gonna go over some interstate tips. And this thing dies after about 30 minutes, so I'm gonna let it die at 30 minutes. This is gonna be a long, pretty much unedited, long cut. All right, so we got this thing right here. So once again, we only need this much space. I'm gonna take it. I'm not gonna even try to go over it. There we go. Now, it could freak you out. You're like, oh crap, it's gonna come into my spot. But remember, just remember when you see these trams, they're not gonna cross over into the curb. The tram can't hit the curb. So you're gonna get like half a lane position to the left. So I got pushed to the side unless I'd crossed over. I just took the little spot. That's how much you need. That's it. And I highly recommend you just start practicing your spatial awareness, so that you really only need like a line. Like the painted line, that's all you need. Okay? All right, so we're about to get on the interstate. So once again, cross over. I'm gonna straighten up first and then go. I do not want to be in the middle of a turn and have to deal with a loss of traction possibly from tires on metal. So I straightened up over those railroad tracks. You see how it's just a quick turn, straighten up, turn? That's all I did, and that's all you have to do. And that goes for manhole covers, debris on sharp turns like that. Manhole covers, if you're just riding, there's a manhole cover right there. So if you're just riding, manhole cover, you can go over it. It's not a big deal. It's when you're turning. Because remember, when you're turning, you're using a lot of your traction pie chart. There's acceleration, deceleration, traction, all that stuff. All right, so this was the frontage road, I guess. I don't remember. It's been a while. It's been a while. So you got to watch out for emerging. That's another thing. This guy emerged all the way across. People's typical thing is to do that. They're supposed to yield, I believe. Or is it me supposed to yield? I think I forget. Either way, I yield. Because at the end of the day, they win. All right. So I'm going to take advantage of this big-ass fire truck from Tucson Fire. It's Pierce. I used to go on a truck like this. This looks like the old, 15. This is like the old engine 3. This is the old engine 3 from YFD, basically. Anyways, I'm going to use them as a big target because this guy behind me doesn't even want to use or get close to them. So I'm going to use that. So they don't want to get close. This person behind me is giving me good space. That's very good. All right, so we're about to go. Once again, I don't have a good view to my left because of the fire truck. Also to the right. And there's a lot of debris right there. A lot of diesel. Lots of diesel. Those things get hot. All right. So once again, opening up the view here. So now I can see way ahead. Using my peripheral, I'm going to look for here. So now that we're about to get onto the interstate and we're going to start accelerating and getting more speed, the biggest concern with that is literally the speed. There's no cross traffic, or at least there should not be any cross traffic on the interstate. There should not be any head-on traffic. If there is, there actually has been a few fatalities in Phoenix because of that kind of crap. And if there is, it's usually at night, drunk people, so you got to be very careful. But anyways, that's not what we're worried about. All right, so another intersection. I'm afraid of people turning in front of me, so I'm looking, rolling off throttle, rolling on the throttle now that I'm through it. All right, so now we're going to get on the interstate. So do not accelerate like crazy on these turns, as fun as it is. Okay, all you have to do is pick up your speed to maintain enough. All right, know where you're going to go. Obviously, if I turn right, I'd be going to 12th Street, but I want to go to I-10 East. All right. So usually when I see a broken down vehicle, I'm afraid of tire parts and stuff on the road, so I'm keeping an eye out for any roadside debris. We got this guy not wanting to go to the left because he's probably being blocked off, so I'm not going to push him. Exactly, he was being blocked off by that black vehicle. We got another merging thing over here, so now I got to set myself in a good spot. I don't want this guy to be in my blind spot, and I'm going to be in this spot. So if I have to, I can swerve left, but I can also see what's in front of this PT Cruiser. It's this, well, now he's not in my lane. So now I got a really good space cushion. Now this is a space cushion for in town. At my speed, it is not enough for me to stop in time. If he slams on the brakes and I slam on the brakes, there's a good chance that my reaction time, stopping distance, all that stuff is not going to be good enough. But it gives me enough space to swerve out of the way. So I got a massive shoulder on the right, I got a massive lane on the left, which I'm actually going to go because this guy's slowing down. So what you do is you accelerate when you change lanes. Do not just change lanes then accelerate. You're still pretty much going in a straight line. All right, so quick tip, now that we're over here, I'm going to switch on over to this lane. It's the safest lane right now because there's no cars, no debris, no nothing. Also watch out for any debris over here on the left. That's usually where it collects. But one thing is that we get crosswinds. Now I got a question on crosswinds, especially when you're on the interstate and you're going fast. Let's say I have a crosswind coming in from the right, so it's like, I gotta lean to the right, you know, all this wind. One thing that you can do, just sit back, close your legs. Now the crosswind to the right, open your leg to the right. You just created a sail. It's gonna grab wind, and it's gonna start pulling me to the right. This is gonna pull me to the left. This is gonna pull me to the right without having to do anything. So that crosswind, it's pushing me that way. I'm like, I gotta lean into the wind. Do that, and you can lean less. This is a lot of work and you're pushing on the handlebars. This is using your legs and being smart about it. So that's a little tip, a little quick tip. All right. Typically you just keep your legs in. And if you want, you can get ducked down. All right. So once again, you gotta watch out just like when you're on the main road. What's up, buddy? So right here, this is a decent spot to get a good view way down the line, but it kind of puts you in a bad line of sight for anybody that's on the right side. You also don't have a massive shoulder, especially on the left side. You have a tiny little shoulder, which is just enough. Look how far off on the side I am. I am not even like using my whole lane. This is how much room I pretty much need to stay within my lane. Okay. So what I would do if there was any traffic in front of me is I would stay in this middle part. But right now that I'm passing this vehicle, I'm staying as far as I possibly can and kind of glancing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Not at where their hands are or who the person is. I'm looking at their tires. So when I'm looking at the tires right here, I'm making sure that they're not getting closer and closer and closer to the white striped line. If it's getting closer and closer and closer, and it's not like they're just not paying attention and it looks like they're literally just going to start crossing over, that means they're changing lanes without any indication. That right there, since I have this big gap and I have this big space, if I start seeing that come out in front of me, I accelerate. Now I know a lot of you don't have a higher CC engine, a powerful engine to do that at highway speeds. So what you can do is if you start seeing that, roll off the throttle and you will slow down quick without even having to touch your brakes, without having to touch your clutch, nothing. Literally roll off the throttle. Watch how fast it's going down. And this is a 6-speed, very powerful engine. If you have a slower bike, a smaller bike, it's gonna slow down even quicker. So you don't have to go, crap, and grab. That probably scared some of you. Probably you don't do that, you just roll off. That way you still maintain hand pressure. You see how you just maintain hand pressure? I can hold the handle grip. So if I have to, in a lot of crazy crosswind, I just do that. Simple as that. All right, so now I'm gonna be riding right here. Oh, we're about to come up to somebody? Okay, I'm gonna switch on over. Switch on over, very good. Okay, now that I feel comfortable, I'm gonna kind of switch back over here to the middle lane. Since I got a big space gap, I'm looking at the tires, I'm gonna switch on over. And then kind of switch back over. It's all good. That's all you have to do. You don't have to switch over to lane position 1 if you don't want to. I just feel more comfortable doing that. Now we have these turns right here on the interstate. Let's say we're turning like this and there's a bunch of cars. It's the same thing as turning on the mountain, same thing as turning on the street. You want to give yourself the best view, so roll back, roll off the throttle so you have a nice space cushion. So I know for a fact right now I don't have anybody behind me for a while. I don't have anybody in front of me for a while. I feel 100% comfortable in this spot. Now at some point I am slowly catching up to this SUV, so when I get closer to that SUV, I'm gonna see if I can maintain its speed, and then on a straightaway, when I have good visibility, I will accelerate past him, because I don't want to be near him. All right, we're gonna wave at these people. Very good. All right, another thing that I see is that we got some weather changes up here. Okay, so it's gonna be too far south for me for the most part. If I started my day about 20-30 minutes earlier, it might be an issue, but right now it's not an issue, so I do not have to worry too much about it. All right, so we're going at a decent speed. We're going the speed limit right here, so I'm gonna kind of see where he's at. Okay, I'm gonna keep an eye out where I can go, and now I'm gonna go ahead and accelerate out of his way, and I just want to get away. I just want to get away. There we go. So I'm gonna slow back down just a little bit. I've maintained my speed. I'm gonna look at where I need to go, and once again, if I have to, I'll just put this leg out and it's gonna help me turn. Not a big deal. But this is a pretty simple turn. All right, so we got people merging. I don't know if this white truck's gonna move into my lane or this guy's gonna jump all the way to my lane because he doesn't want to be that close to that white truck. So I don't know what he wants to do, so I'm gonna switch on over here. Now, I see his brake lights. I think I see his brake lights. Those must be running lights. Those are running lights. All right, so I'm gonna get out of his blind spot. So now I want him to be able to see me. So now yeah, there it is. He switched over. He was waiting for me. So most drivers don't even care. They'll just take it. But I was keeping an eye on that. All right, bumps, same thing. Kind of get your feet on the pegs. There you go. Very good. All right, so this is starting to get a little bit more trafficy. So we got this guy on the, okay, he's on the frontage road. I don't know if he's gonna merge. But I don't want to be near this guy. As much as I want to speed up and go the speed limit, if I did the speed limit, I would just be stuck behind the guy in front of me, and I'd be in this guy's blind spot. All right, so that guy went, so I'm going to go ahead and accelerate. There we go. So now I'm out of that guy's blind spot. I got this nice open spot over here. I'm looking at the truck ahead of this car. I'm not too worried about the car, but I see everybody in the right lane starting to slow down, so I have a feeling that people in the right lane are going to start merging. I'm giving it enough room. See the brakes on this? I don't know if he's turning right. He's not turning right. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and accelerate out of his way. You treat everybody as a new hazard. Yep, there's that guy moving. So I don't know if this guy's gonna move because he decided, oh, I'll do it. Okay, keep an eye. So now I'm in a position that I can see ahead of this white truck. He blocked my view. I don't like it, but now I can see ahead of him. And I'm keeping an eye on the brake lights of the car. And I'm using my peripheral for everything else. So I don't know if he's gonna switch to the right lane now that it's open, because he has somebody in front of him. So he's pressuring him. I see that he's accelerating onto this this car, and he's pressuring him. Because if I'm maintaining speed and all of a sudden I'm speeding up, yeah, he's being a jerk. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna slow down and switch on over to the right lane because I'm in no rush. So since I switched to the right lane, there's nobody in front of me. I told you when we were in traffic that you'll go from that, like lane position 3, lane position 1 in this lane. There was nobody in front of me. I saw that ahead of time, so I just went all the way across. So now I can see all over. I can see everybody. Oh, I almost went off the I almost went off to the exit. So I got this guy to my left, so I can't swerve too far to the left in the lane, but I got lane position 1, 2, and then I got 1, 2, 3. See how big these shoulders are? Do not panic if you have to go off-road. Do not panic, okay? Just for instance, let's go ahead and do it. So do not panic if you have to go off-road. See how I'm off the road? It's not a big deal. If you have to, you have to. All right, so we got traffic merging. He's slowing down to get behind this vehicle. So he's gonna be my new person in front of me, but he's not going what we are going. So it's gonna take him a couple seconds to maintain the speed that all the traffic is doing, or he's just gonna do this speed. If he's gonna do this speed, I'm gonna roll up the throttle and match his speed, get myself in a better position. Now I can see right in front of everybody. I can see all brake lights of every vehicle, and I'm just gonna kind of roll off my speed. I'm in no rush. And that's one of the biggest things that gets motorcyclists is that they're in a rush. Same thing with other car drivers. Every driver on the road, everybody's in a rush. There's no rush. Going 5 miles faster than what you're doing in a 5-mile stretch of road is only gonna gain you a couple seconds. But it could save your life if you went a little slower. So I have no problem with people passing me. I want to be able to see what's ahead of me. Okay, so I think the exit that I'm going to be taking is the next exit. How you doing, camera? All right, 25 minutes, so that thing's got 5 more minutes left to its life. I'm just gonna let it run. It auto saves. I hope so. I'll probably stop it at 29 minutes. All right, so I'll take the, see everyone's starting to brake. I see the brakes up ahead, so I'm just gonna roll the throttle. You see how I'm rolling the throttle? I'm not having to apply any brakes. Not having to apply any brakes. So now that I'm going at a lower speed though, well, there must have been an accident. There's no way that's like this. So I had to downshift. I'm finding the friction zone. See how smooth that was? Found the friction zone, downshifted the RPMs, all that stuff. So I'm in 5th gear, about 45 miles an hour. I could probably downshift one more time, but I'm about to take this next exit. So I'm gonna switch on over so I can see. Everyone's starting to take this exit. I wonder if there was an accident. All right, so my blinker, my indication. All right, here we go. Could just be a bunch of rubberneckers. All right, so we got road work ahead, traffic change. We got people applying the brakes. I know that there's a light right here, so they could be applying the brakes and stopping in the middle of a turn. So I'm just gonna sit back and relax. Okay, I see that it's green, everybody's going, so I'm gonna downshift, indication. I'm gonna downshift to 2nd gear. I'm gonna release the clutch into the friction zone, slow it down, look both ways, look at the ground, look at any type of debris. This is a decreasing radius turn. It actually is. That's a decreasing radius turn. So you actually get to see those in the city. It's not just on the mountain. All right, so I'm gonna open up the view once again on this side. So now I can see around. It's a blind turn. I think of hills as turns. These are vertical turns. And if I can't see over it, then I don't feel comfortable. But now I can see over this. This is also another turn. This isn't a blind turn. See how it's going downhill and turning left? I can see way ahead. So I gave myself, I rolled off the throttle. I gave myself this nice gap. I see everyone braking because of this. Okay, I was gonna switch lanes, but I see somebody off to my side. I'm not gonna switch lanes. I don't see anybody now. I'm gonna switch off because at some point I'm gonna have to turn right. I don't like where I'm at right now. A lot of people park like this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep my brakes on, keep an eye on this truck, and practice my slow speed. So now that I'm in this position, I feel a little bit more comfortable. And I'm just practicing my slow speed. There we go. Now I'm gonna get into a better position. Okay, is this a better position? No, it's not. I can't see very far around this truck, so I'm gonna get back in this position. So you constantly variable. I don't even know what I'm saying. Constantly vary your stuff. If this is a better position, great. If this is a bad position just because there's a jerk that is sitting right on the line, then it's not. So you might have to check the other side. You're constantly moving back and forth, but every time you go from here, danger, safe. So safe, danger, safer. If you're right behind a vehicle, you're in a bad spot. So right here, I see this white car coming out, so I'm actually gonna present myself. I wanna be visible, line of sight to you guys. There you go. I'm here. Okay, so now I'm gonna kind of slow down. I don't know what's around this, now I know what's around the turn. You see what I mean? You slow down, you get cautious when you can't see because of trees, and then you can feel better when you can see around. All right, so we got a bump right here, we got a railroad track, so once again, you're gonna sit your butt up, and I'm gonna give myself a nice little gap. Boop, 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 boop. Another cattle guard, same thing. All right, so the roadway is a little funky. It's pretty bumpy. And I know that in the middle of this turn, there's a massive pothole. But if you don't know, how would you see it? Well, I gave myself this nice gap right here. I'm gonna go ahead and make sure I get in the right gear. I see a bunch of debris. I'm gonna turn, and there's the pothole. So you give yourself a gap. You do not just rush it. So if the car was right in front of me and then they're going straight, I'm not just automatically going into my turn. I'm letting them go. I'm opening up this nice view. I'm going at my pace. I don't care about the cars behind me. I'm just doing what I need to do. All right, so we got a crack. I'm gonna go over it quickly. And that's a huge thing. Oh, we got a PT Cruiser wanting to come out. So there's a big gap. We also got a white car wanting to turn left in front of me. So I'm kind of keeping an eye on that. Okay, see how I moved over? I'm moving over. That gives me, I'm already in the middle of a swerve basically. So if I stayed in this position for all those cars wanting to come out, I would have to swerve all the way to here. Now, if I set myself up and I see all those cars that, like, let's say I'm right here. I see all those cars wanting to come out, I'll just go ahead and move over here. I see them ahead of time, I'll just move here. So if they decide to go out, I already have that big gap. of swerving done. That is huge. That prepares you. And at the end of the day, you're just having fun too. If anybody says anything, it's like, well, I'm just moving around. I'm using every ounce of this line, this lane, whatever. You notice how I never really got up super close to this red truck? It's because I like the space cushion. I can see around him. I can see the vehicles in front of him. And if I have to stop, I have plenty of time to stop. And I can also swerve into this middle lane, and I also have the shoulder. So there's a bunch of things that I can do. So I could totally, he's going 45, which is the speed limit. I mean, people go 5 over sometimes. I could go 5 over, but then I'll be stuck at 45 right behind him. So I'm gonna slow down and I'll maintain 45. I'll pace him from back here. That's what I'll do. And now I have a huge gap. So right now, there's no vehicles wanting to come. Oh, it's so beautiful. There's no vehicles that want to come out from the other side or out from this side. So right now, my line of sight is terrible for anybody on the right side. So that's why I switch over when people want to merge. So now see how I can see everything? That means they can see me too. So right now, I'm just constantly moving back and forth because there's more so a issue with people turning left. Like this person wanting to go left. I want to be visible for him. So this guy, he doesn't know which way he wants to go. So there's a white car there's a white car. All right, I'm right here, buddy. See how I slowed down instead of just gunning it? I wanted to make sure that guy was there. That red vehicle blocked the view of that white car of me, and I wanted that white car to see me. It's as quick as that. So right here, I love medians because I'm short. I put my foot down. It also gets me at a good spot right here. So if this Honda right now wants to pretty much go crazy. Oh, I think it turned off. I swear, I hope it freaking stayed on or recorded the first 30 minutes. If it didn't, we got this camera. Is it running still? Yeah, boy. So I like to do this because now I'm in a good spot. All right, so it's just a green. It's not an arrow for everybody. I don't like being in the intersection for very long. Remember, we're fast vehicles. Okay, so we got this. So this guy decided to stop. So I'm gonna stay right here, and I'm actually gonna start creeping out just a little bit. All right, I don't see anybody. Cool, I'm gonna go. Once again, body positioning. I go wide when there's medians because you never know if there's debris. Oh, we got construction. So people don't understand construction. I'm serious. Just assume that car drivers are freaking out and they don't know anything. So whenever you get into this situation, see how I just applied the brakes? It's like, oh, what do I do? What do I do? Oh, we got a squiggles. We got a squiggles. What do we do? What do we do? So I sit back. I sit back and see what they do. I want them to be the guinea pig. Who here lets other people, you know, raise their hand first in class or volunteer first so you can see what's going on? I do sometimes. Sometimes it's actually good to get it done out of the way. But right here, so this center line stripe, or this stripe right here, is not designed to be ridden on. So like this area, lane position 3, and then actually lane position 2 and 3 on this lane, don't get a lot of road or a lot of tire usage, so there's a lot of cracks, so really watch out for that. So I sit back. There's no rush to be right behind somebody's ass on a construction. You see how bumpy it is, these cracks are? And these people have to go off-road. You see how they have to go off-road? Half off-road? Well, half their vehicle's off-road, so that means 2 tires are on-road. So if we're 2 tires, stay on road right there. All right, you also gotta watch out for debris right here. Okay, so we got a bunch of traffic, a bunch of stuff. Okay, so here we got a bike lane, we got a speed limit still at 35. You always watch out for cops. Traffic fines double in construction zones. And you also watch out for big machinery and a lot of crazy stuff like this, So sidewalk is closed. You see this right here? That piece of metal? Because they had to work down inside. So when you ever see those pieces of metals, it's perfectly fine to go over if you're going straight. So we got a lot of debris. So once again, I'm taking my time, going nice and slow. Going nice and slow. And now that I'm straight, I'll go. We're not here to race. We got this guy coming out. Don't know what you're gonna do. We're not here to race. We're here to survive on these streets. We're here to continue commuting and doing our thing. So if you have to take it slow, take it slow. Just because you're on a motorcycle, does that mean you got to gun it around every corner? So this one, I have the opportunity to go wide. I'm making sure nobody's here. I'm going to go wide. See? Slow. Doesn't matter. It don't matter. But yeah, this is the place. There you go. That's what I'm trying to say. This is the place. This is the neighborhood that I was teaching Nikki how to ride in. This is a perfect neighborhood because it's pretty much this giant circle and we could practice a lot of stuff, a lot of cross streets, a lot of people coming out. Also remember, every single driveway is an intersection. Intersection, 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 intersection. You don't know if somebody's going to come out or if a kid's going to run across the road. So always watch out for that. And there's always a lot of debris in neighborhoods. How you doing? There's a lot of debris in neighborhoods just because it doesn't get a lot of traffic. With traffic, it really pushes debris off the road. It really pushes it, but there's a lot of debris on turns, so be careful with those. But I just wanted to share with you a 30 plus, was it 35 plus minutes? It's probably gonna be edited down a little bit. Oh, see, I was about to turn wide on an area with a lot of debris. Got to keep an eye out for the ground. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, become a patron, and I'll be seeing you around, boys.